Repulser Brace is a perk in Destiny 2 that not a lot of people like to run, not a lot of people like him on their weapons. However, I feel like a lot of people are missing out on some huge build crafting potential here, as essentially it's a free overshield if you can build craft into it correctly. For me, I personally like to run this on Void 3.0 Warlock, so that's what this build video is going to be featured around. I'm going to mainly be focusing on how to get buffs such as Debar, the overshield from Repulser Brace, as well as volatile rounds and Child of the Old Gods for debuffing. Alright, for the subclass, we're going to be running Empowering Rift, and we'll get into this in a second. We're also going to be running Vortex Nade, Child of the Old Gods, and Feed the Void, which is just going to allow us to debuff and get Debar. Echo of Instability for volatile rounds, Echo of Obscurity for invis if you're running GMs, Echo of Persistence to make it last longer, Echo of Expulsion to make stuff explode if they die to Child of the Old Gods. If you're not running GMs and you don't really need invis, you could probably swap it out for Echo of Leeching. So now we'll run over the subclass. Let's get into what weapons we're going to be using and what exotic armor pieces and the build around that we're going to be using is. For me personally, I like to run Unforgiven, mainly because I don't have a good Doom of Chelsea yet. This thing rolls with Demolitionist and Repulser Brace for me. This basically means I'm going to get my nade up a lot more, and obviously I'm going to have Repulser Brace, which allows us to get our overshield upon killing the debuff targets. For the exotic, I like to run Secant Filaments, or Filaments as I just like to call them. This will basically make this thing viable in high-end content, while also allowing us to get an easy route into Devar. This thing, it pairs really well with the current meta, at least since there's no overload SMG. This basically allows us to, take use of that weaponry. However, you might not really need these. You could probably swap it out for Controverse Hold, since, if you have a good Doom of Chelsea with Repulser's Brace, then you might not want to be running the SMG and opt for the anti-barrier option this season. Alright, now the main part of this build, we're also going to be running some wells. I like to run double Well of Tenacity and Elemental Time Dilation. This leads to about 11 seconds of resistance. We also going to be running Bountiful Wells, along with either Reaping Wellmaker or Elemental Ordnance. This pretty much allows you to have the 11 seconds of resistance, as I said, along with giving you 2 wells drops. I believe picking them up gives you a little bit of class ability energy, which comes back into getting your Emperor back for Overload. This helps a lot in GMs. Earlier, at least whenever I was running with some skewered stats, thanks to the Festival of the Lost Mask. So yeah, that's pretty much the build and what I like to do to make this thing worth it. The great thing about this is I'm basically allowed to have 3 buffs all at once, as well as having 2 debuffs at pretty much all times. The other good thing as well is, of course, it's viable in high-end content due to Secant Filaments giving us overload, and the Well, Tenacity giving us resistance. That's also really helpful. But yeah, that's pretty much going to be the video. That's going to be the build. If anyone's interested, I can leave a dim link in the description that'll basically apply all of this stuff for you. You might need your own armor, but I mean, it still stands. It'll still work. So yeah, thanks for watching, and if I ever make another one, then I guess I'll see you then.